We're live, girl. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. How many people we got in there? I know some people were creeping in before the live.
Yeah, I saw that too. Looks like we got. Da, 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 da. Okay, everyone's slowly coming in. Almost 15 people. We're good.
And the
It usually
notifications
takes
just
about
went
90
out.
seconds. It takes about 90 seconds. We got and we'll get 60 people. But please hit that like button, you guys.
Yeah, as you guys, stroll on in here, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. I know we got some new Beyond the Gates people that's here as well. So, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I've been doing some Beyond the Gates recaps and things like that. So, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. And it's been this is our second week of Beyond the Gates. So,
every episode is better than the next. I'm just like, there hasn't been a filler episode yet. That's just me.
Here's the thing. Because of that, look at what Gail said in the chat.
Yeah. She's not lying. I get
it. Beyond the Gates. Girl, do you see that house that Bill and Haley lives in?
Oh my goodness. Beautiful. They have all the sets on that show are immaculate. Beautifully decorated. Right? Everything. I'm obsessed with each and every one of them. Taking little pictures, little wall sconces, little decor ideas, everything.
I know, right? It's just like, oh my God, everything. Well, we'll talk, because there's a lot of things that we kind of talked about in the group chat that I kind of want to talk about here as well. And, how we acknowledge the relevance and how they keep it. I think that was either you or both, you and Keish, was talking about how they keep the show relatable to everyday life.
Yeah. So, I think that was Keish.
Yeah, it was Keish. So we'll talk about that as well. So let's jump into this. So welcome you guys to Soap Corner Talk, where it's our Friday recap, where we're recapping both. Well, I used to say both. We're recapping Y&R, B&B, and BTG. So, of course, everybody know what that is, Beyond the Gates. And this is for the week of March 3rd through March 7th. And Y&R, B&B, but it's a lot of different things going on Beyond the Gates. So we're going to talk about all of it. If you're new here, like I said earlier, hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you like the video, share the video, tell us a friend that, hey, we talk soaps over here on Friday nights. And we usually do Young and the Restless. We'll do Bold and the Beautiful. And we save BTG for third. And then we also have our segments, our Flip the Script, Who's Taking Several Seats, Star of the Week, Pickle of the Week, and the Simp Olympics for this week. So we got a lot of chairs that we're pulling out of the janitor's closet this week.
Airplane seats.
Girl.
For several people.
Airplane
on all
seats,
shows.
Stadium seats, folding chairs. We got some folks that's going to take several seats this week. Yep. So, all right. So, without any other further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into the Young and the Restless and get through this pretty quickly. What stood out for you this week? I mean, we did have Lily running her mouth and Nate reading her for filth for telling the business. We had this whole thing with Billy and Adam and, Chelsea and Adam wondering if they still hung up on their exes. This situation with Kyle and Claire and Summer, and then, of course, Holden, who don't want to go home.
Honestly, I think the very beginning of the week, I love the fact that Nate had to get his cousins together It was absolutely necessary, and that's why I feel Lily gets the very first seat, because she done lost her mind. Because what was she expecting Nate to do? How was she expecting him to react? Like, oh, yeah, I was digging into your brother's past. I know you don't know him. I don't know him. But I even went to Victor because his research team, a.k.a. Michael the Lapdog, is able to get that information about what's going on with your brother, even though it has no relevance whatsoever to Winters.
Yeah, that whole thing there, I was like, when I saw last weekend, when I saw the Monday's episode, because I usually try to watch stuff the day before, I was like, good for you, Nate. A round of applause. Because she had no business talking about, I'm trying to protect you. From what? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
She don't even like her family.
She can't even protect her own self from being checkmated by Victor. And then you turn around and you go to the same person that flipped the script on you to get information out of.
And not your brother, who has the same deep pockets, who is actually closer to the situation than Victor. And you would think she would trust her brother after he's given her numerous chance after chance after chance to go over to the family company, and she was dragging her feet for somebody else's company. You would think that she would have trusted her brother by now. Like, hey, do this research. Like, this is our cousin. This is our family. Once again, she had to go to the outskirts to somebody else's family for help.
There's a message, and thanks for the super chat, Tommy. He says, can Bree call Kyle, a.k.a. Mr. Sheffield, and Claire, the nanny, love? Oh, the nanny. Love you guys. Keep up the good work. Please call him Mr. Sheffield, Bree.
Okay, so we're calling Johnny Bravo Mr. Sheffield, which he did look very Sheffield this week. And the nanny, absolutely. Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, we'll get to Mr. Sheffield in a minute. In the meanwhile, Nate told him off like, look, this ain't got nothing to do. Why are you going digging in the man business stuff? I'm trying to get his mama and him together and figure this thing out before she leave this earth. And y'all sitting up there talking about, well, we don't trust them and you need to do this. Here's the crazy thing. Not even 5 minutes after Nate told them to stay out of it, they run into the man over at Crimson Lights and still end up giving this man the 3rd degree.
Which is why Devon also gets the 2nd seat, because what is it to you what his business was? And I was so happy that Damian checkmate everything that Devon was saying. Like, look, my brother brought me here on cross presences. I had to protect myself. What does what my business have to do with Winters? I don't even know you guys. He kept checkmating everything. And Devon was like, well, I mean, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but I still don't trust you. Okay, what is the whole purpose of the 3rd degree for a man you don't even know? He's not even a threat to you. Y'all brought him to Genoa City, literally. So
this whole thing was perpetrated by Nate and Amy. It was Nate and Amy. They didn't even really have any clue about this until after the fact. And then Nate, Amy, Audra flew all the way out to L.A. to meet up with what was Holden, who they thought was Damian, to draw this man back to L.A. back to Genoa City. Lied about a job only to, try to reconcile the whole relationship with Amy. They dragged him out of the woodworks. Y'all pulled this man here.
Exactly. So how was he supposed to react? I mean, look, should he have had like a dupe come in? I mean, I don't know, but at the same time, y'all lied about a job. Right. Y'all lied about your intentions for reaching out to this man. You're digging into this man's personal information, and once again, for what? Mm-hmm. It's amazing how they don't trust him, but have all the trust in the world for Victor. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And his proven track record. Okay, that's why they get in seats.
Let's touch on that, Bree. Because the interesting thing about that is, when Nate found out that Lily got that information from Victor, he was like, you do realize that this is going to get his spidey senses tingling. Them two had the nerve to say, oh no, Victor ain't going to do anything. He's not going to take this any further. And I'm like, do y'all really know this man?
They learned nothing. Mr. Newman, they kissing this man's feet still. Mm-hmm. I almost guarantee Devon still calls him Mr. Newman, even after marrying his daughter. Mm-hmm.
It just makes pitiful. No sense.
And Black Peak Me had it correct. She said Nate put 100 on 10.
Mm-hmm. And that's the crazy thing. That really floored me, because you actually, after especially Lily, you just went through the latter part of 2024 dealing with these folks who lied to your face. Lied to your face. And then you're going to sit up there and say, I can trust him. He ain't going to say anything. He's not going to take this further. I'm like, what?
The same Victor Newman who you couldn't be in the same room with at your brother's wedding.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Same person. And you were crying. It is the same Victor Newman who gladly took the corporate espionage information you gave him to get the said company that you cannot work for no more.
Girl, listen, Jenna said, how many times does he have to screw them over before they get it?
Well, apparently not enough. You would have thought that they would have some sort of common sense, but she just providing information to Victor. You would think she would have nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. Like, I was perfectly fine with her, like, checking both Victor and Nikki when they were at Society, and then she decided, like, oh, let me use this opportunity to get Victor's resources. So your brother doesn't have the same resources? He doesn't have the same pockets? Mm-hmm. Because all Victor did was go to Michael, who was just happy to take that man's call as his happy-go-lucky lapdog.
Right.
Okay? You could have also went to Michael if that were the case. Why did you have to invite Victor?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Belinda says just a matter of time before Victor goes after Winters again.
And it's their own fault.
Yep.
I wouldn't feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
At all.
Now, what did you think about Damian? Because obviously it seemed like he trying to reconcile with his mom, even though he had that conversation with Nate, saying that I don't know if I could get there. But at least he's trying. Do you think it's genuine, or do you think it's still for Lily's sake?
I don't think that he would have a reason to lie now, mm-hmm. because his relationship with his mom is going to be whatever it's going to be. Mm-hmm. I think with him taking the time to really hear her out at that breakfast or lunch, whatever they had, and get her point of view, he cares about her getting treatment. It's like he's shifting his tune. I want to say he changed all the way. Mm-hmm. But he's shifting it, and I don't think that he would have a reason to lie to Nate about what is on his mother.
Right. I get you. Obviously, it seemed like Damian does know Audra being Holden's ex, so he must know about their past too.
Yes, and I'm like, Audra, you calling him a friend, calling him this, and clearly Holden is reminiscing and missing her. Mm-hmm. And she's acting some kind of way, especially with Nate. And when she got to that table and Nate was looking at her crazy, like walking in with Holden, she's sitting down. He's like, oh, you make me so happy. I'm so happy to be with you. There's no other place I want to be. I'm like,
mm-hmm. Overcompensating.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, and I
Yeah.
gotta give it to Damian for calling Holden out. He like, look, I'm trying to deal with this stuff with my mother, and you supposed to be back in L.A. handling business, yet you want to chase Audra around.
Mm-hmm.
But then he had to turn around and clap back like the same thing you trying to do with Lily Winters. I'm like, I thought
Oh,
y'all were best friends and he was your boss.
yeah. Clearly, they can separate some things because it sounded like he was trying to approach his employer and Holden was trying to approach his friend,
Mm-hmm.
and the two just don't seem to mix. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he wasn't wrong. He did stick. The Damien did stick around for Lily, and why I don't know. And he still asked this woman out on a date
You
after
know what?
she.
Let me say something that's interesting that you brought up in the group chat, which was because honestly, I kind of agree with what you had said. Because I'm gung ho about trying to figure out how this connection is going to flourish with Lily and Damien. However, I do agree with you that that would probably, for most men, be a turnoff with
Yeah.
the way that she did and going to Victor and digging in his stuff and all this. And now, granted, you obviously women get background checks on the men that they date, but this here went a little further than that.
This went into this man's business,
Mm-hmm.
and she's only entertaining this man just to try to get dirt on him. And once again, for what? So either you're interested in this man
Mm-hmm.
or not.
Right.
Because it doesn't seem like romantic or exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't even seem like she's genuinely intrigued with how handsome he is or anything like that. She just wants to get dirt and to prove what? That she's right? That she ain't had
Mm-hmm.
nothing better else to do?
Yeah, but the thing is, she talking about the only reason that she's going out on a date with this guy is to get information. And I'm like, well, you know how the soaps are. She gonna eventually start falling for this guy.
Look, Damien, look, he needs to get the Carfax on this girl that she tends to lose her mind, and she's just every man then cheated on her, and I wonder why, because she does stupid stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, had she had gotten, the background check on Kane after all those years.
Mm. Oh, did you see what Melissa Spencer said?
Let me
She said she
see.
saw a spoiler that said Holden and Audra have a son together, and Audra is hiding them.
Oh, oh,
I
that is a
I haven't
explosion.
seen anything like that, but that would definitely be an exciting twist if it's true.
And you know what? I'm still, the thing that keeps going in the back of my mind is both like Damien, Holden, and Audra have the connection of Tucker still. And I'm wondering if he's going to resurface, but I haven't seen anything in regards to them possibly having a baby. And I would have thought that Holden would have held that over that girl's head at least by now. The way that she's like checking him each and every chance she gets, but she's still entertaining time with him. They would have hinted at something like that, at least by now.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. They need to do something to spice up this show. Seriously.
Yeah, because I honestly wouldn't mind Audra and Holden. They seem to have really good chemistry, and plus, the way Nate keeps looking at her, she's like, "What you guys got going on?
Yeah, you think
What
that
is this?"
the romance between Audra and Nate is kind of fizzle?
I think it's reaching its peak, and something tells me either Holden's going to try to start some mess to try
Mm-hmm.
to get the girl, or Audra might be giving in to Holden. But the way the previews look next week, Claire might be getting her claws into Holden.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that. So we might as well talk. Well, let's get this whole thing with Chelsea and Adam out the way, and then this thing with Billy. Um, Obviously, it got out that Billy is starting the company. Victor found out, Adam found out, and Victor confronted Jack about it. Adam confronted Billy about it, and this is supposed to be a secret, which I think the way that the spoilers was written, because remember, Victor has moles in Jabot. Am I correct? He has 3 of them that Michael set
Three
up
moles
in Jabot. So I'm wondering, how did they find out about that?
That I honestly didn't think too much about that, because I'm like, Billy's a public figure. There's people who's probably looking into everything going on with especially with these types of families, where there's a lot of money and a lot of scandal. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. And plus, if he's starting a business, I mean, he's reached out to certain people, getting business licenses, different things. So, unless maybe a mole had like looked into Jack's financials and saw that he gave money to his brother, I would have just thought that, when you're starting a business, there's just, certain public information could be leaked, like your LLC.
Gotcha.
That's public record.
Gotcha.
So Billy or Jack shouldn't be surprised by that at all either.
Yeah, well, that maybe because the way that this was written is that it was hush hush. Nobody, and obviously we know, and that goes into what we were talking about with the other soap. Some stuff just don't make sense because it doesn't cross over to the real world. You know what I mean? So, like what you just said makes sense. But with what Billy and Jack and all of them is like, how did they get out? Don't nobody supposed to even know about that.
And they shouldn't be surprised by any of that, to be honest.
So, anyway, it caused a whole argument between him and Adam. Now, I think Billy is going after Chancellor. He's not necessarily coming for Adam.
I think he's going for Victor and his crumbs. That includes Adam in the midst of all of this. He has an axe to grind.
Yeah, but I thought that when he was on the phone call, he was coming for Chancellor.
Yeah, I think he's using his brother. I think he's taking the sympathy route. That's why he was able to get the funding to start this quote unquote new venture. Because they keep putting in the scripting, like, you're not going after Chancellor. You're not trying to go back after Victor. And clearly he is. So I think he's going to try to one-up them in regards to Chancellor, or maybe he's using his media company to try to trash Chancellor, to weaken it or something. But I also think that he has an axe to grind when it comes to Adam, especially after that piece that Adam did, which they did bring up this week as well. So I think he is kind of checking off his boxes on who he's trying to get back after. But he's trying to play it cool versus being a hothead like they expect for him to be.
Gotcha. Well, I'm just over this whole thing. I hate the whole swapperoo of the couples. I've already talked about that in the past. I'm not interested in the Chelsea Adam 2.0. I know Jay is liking them. He's a big fan of Chatham. But to me, that ship has sailed a long time ago.
Yeah, and the fact that they both were like, are you still thinking about your ex? Like, why are you defending Billy? Are you thinking of Sally? Like, they broke up last year.
You're right.
Last summer, actually. So, and Sally's decorating this man's place and going to Paris and France, and Adam and Chelsea that moved in together. Why are they still, like, trying to check to see if they're still over each other's exes? Like, y'all are not over this yet?
Right. Yeah, girl, I could care less about that storyline. I'm curious to see who Billy's contact is, who he's been talking to. That part. But this whole thing that's going on with Sally and Billy, and, she's feeling some kind of way about Phyllis because Billy is obviously worried about her, and this back and forth, with Billy and Adam, and I'm not, exactly, Jasmine. Jasmine said yawn to Chatham.
You know what? As a matter of fact, since we got an airplane, we're gonna put them in a seat too.
Girl, that
I
whole
know J
foursome
Money's
need
not
to
gonna be
take a
like it.
trip.
Yeah, exactly. J Money, if you're listening, we apologize. Well, I apologize, but they're getting a seat tonight. You're not here, so to defend them, so they're getting a seat tonight.
I'm over it. It's just like, why? Every time I get to, and that's the thing. I'm a Adam fan. Every time Adam would come on, it would be interested, but they just, I don't know what they're doing with that. It's just crazy to me.
And by the time we're over thinking about putting Adam and Audrey together, that's when they'll put them together.
Girl, they could have been done that. You brought on, well, Nate has been there for a while, but you bring in Holden to create a past with him when you could have swung this girl to Adam. I mean, those two would have been fire together.
They missed an opportunity. Remember when Adam and Mr. Sheffield were talking in the park?
Yep.
And Adam was defending Audra. I thought, okay, he's leaning towards that direction. Okay, they could have built upon that. We could have seen scenes where, especially since she's still looking for a job, she could have been asking to work over at New Media or something. Especially since Adam has control over who he hires, who he fires, and what have you. They could have been building from there. Missed opportunity, Josh Griffin, but okay.
Yeah, or even they could have created some type of triangle when Sally was dating Adam and Audra found him attractive and wanted. They don't see. This is where, and I gotta say it. BTG pushes the envelope
on a lot of fronts. Ooh, I can't wait to get to that.
They push the envelope, whereas y'all play it safe over here. And I get it, maybe, but why not have Audra at that time go after Adam when she was dating Sally?
Especially since she's best friend, exactly, best friends with Sally. Like, they did a whole Kim test at Crimson Lights where it was all three of them. And I'm like, okay, they're going to start something. But once again, they're not listening to what our suggestions. They listened to some of our suggestions, but not all of them. This would have been a great thing to see. And we could have seen, if they wanted to put Chatham together, we could have had Audra and Chelsea fighting over Adam. Something. That would have been new and fresh to see.
Yeah, why not have it where, Adam was interested in Sally, but there's some lust that he had for Audra, and she's like, man, I wish you was with me. You could do better.
Yes.
Girl, push the envelope, Josh.
Yeah, because she would embrace the dark side of Adam, the Victor Adam Newman side, and whereas Chelsea wants to kind of subdue it a little bit, which is crazy given the fact that she was brought in by Victor as one of his, flunkies. But they could have had like a little love triangle, a little something. They could have warped her in with Adam. That's all we're saying, y'all. Like,
they could have been, yeah. I mean, because even as much as I was excited about her and Nate, especially when she, that whole scene that they had where she was about to climb on top of him in that chair and then Tucker came in. I was like, let's get back to that. Well, we finally got back to it, but y'all watered it down.
Yeah, like her whole she's a whole different personality. Not to say I don't mind it. It's a character development thing, and I get that. We get to see a different side of her. But the heat, the steam, that excitement we saw with Audra and Mr. Sheffield, like, that's why we were calling her an actress for a reason.
She could work it. That girl, I remember that scene, with Kyle, but the girl was crawling through the bed. You remember that? When she crawled up to him?
Yeah, that was hot, spicy, everything. You know, I guess. I mean, they have a 4-year contract. Maybe they might turn this around. You know, we know they listen to the podcast, so just just hear us out. Hear us out. You know, we the soapies. We know what we like.
Right. Exactly. Speaking of something else, is this whole thing with Claire, Kyle, and Summer, and what I don't understand. Why remove this girl out of the relationship with Chance? Why would you do that? To put her back over in this whole mess with Kyle.
She don't even know if she's in a relationship with Chance or not. She's like, I mean, we're on a break. I think, I don't know. I guess, I don't care. I'm like, just go ahead and break up with this man. You don't want him anymore. You haven't said, I love you. Nothing. So let him move on. And that was another thing. I was hoping that Lily and Chance were going to have a little something since they did a chem test.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been interesting to see, especially since she wanted a chancellor so bad. But we got this. She wants her man back. I'm like, okay, well then I'm going to need for her to be on Phyllis like 2.0, like Nikki had pointed out, that she has a lot of her mother in her. So Claire knows she has to watch out for Summer. Mm-hmm. Because clearly she's making her headway over to try to get Kyle back. And it's well known. It's even Jack pointed it out to Diane.
Wow.
So, I mean, if she wants him back, she better really try to fight for this man back. But missed opportunity to see something really grow and develop with her and Chance. But, you know, I think when they took him from contract to recurring back to contract, it created like a rift, a mess. And I don't think they really wanted to make them a real couple. Yeah. Like they were just consistently dating for a year or so.
Do you want Summer back with Kyle?
Honestly, I would rather them than her and than Kyle and Claire.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like when I see Claire and Kyle, like I'm always doing something else. Like I'm not interested in the couple itself. Me personally. Okay. I'm just not. Whereas I always felt like, especially when Hunter King was Summer, like she pushed the envelope. She was wild, spicy, everything. And I'm hoping that with Allison, that they allow her to bring that spicy, edgy side to Summer, because that's truly who she is. Mm-hmm. Not to say that the quiet, subdued Summer isn't great. And of course, she's been nominated for her Emmy. I get that. But bring the spicy, I'm going to fight and get my man back Summer that we liked, especially when she was going head to head with Lola for Kyle and ultimately won.
Hey, Soapies, let me ask you guys in the chat. Write Claire if you would prefer Claire with Kyle, or write Summer if you would prefer Summer back with Kyle. So who are you, Claire? Or would you prefer Summer? I'm kind of curious to see what they would say in the chat. Give y'all some finger work to do.
Mm-hmm. And you saw Victor told a bold-faced lie to Claire, saying, like, I don't want a Kyle with either of them, knowing he encouraged Summer to go after this man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. It's a lot of Claires.
I see that.
Yeah, it's a lot of Claires. I want Claire to put her foot down and tell Victor, look, old man, you're not the boss of me. Go ahead, Jasmine.
But here's the thing, Jasmine. She keeps going over to her granddaddy for approval. Either you don't care or you care.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly she cares. She wants to show that she gets the approval from all fronts of the Newmans. And she's doing it out of jealousy and insecurity because of Summer. She really is. Otherwise, why is she concerned? Kyle clearly isn't concerned at all.
Yeah, Kyle don't even look like he's interested.
Yeah. But you know who else is interested? Harrison.
That's interested in his mama getting back with Kyle?
His daddy, yes.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
That would be like the main reason I would want them together. Because when that boy said, like,
I don't know. I don't know if.
That's what I'm saying. If they change up and get Summer to be the old Summer, kind of like her mother, that would be more exciting to see and see her out to her old antics. Like that would be more so what I would be rooting for. But I feel Kyle and Claire are just boring to me. They just are.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I can't do the Summer and Kyle thing. I like I said, when Hunter King was, that it was a different energy, I would say. That's all I'll say. It just seems like Summer is always sad.
Right, and she had that tall drink of water who at her beck and call whenever there's like a police investigation, he right there, and she doesn't want him.
Jenna said.
But she want Mr. Sheffield.
Jenna said, the way she did my man, I'm over Summer.
Get your man. See, thank you, Jenna. Get your man, since Summer doesn't want to act right at all. Get your man, Jenna.
There's no way that man should be single. I mean, even if I'm trying to think. Maybe, I couldn't see him with Sally. I couldn't see him with Chelsea. They could have just made the situation work with Summer. I mean, you built up all that anticipation prior to. Summer went in and broke up a whole relationship between him and Sharon. And then you just let it fall out.
Well, Sharon broke that up.
Well, the writers broke up that relationship and then only to let it fall flat a few months later. Then you want to throw her back and anyway. And then you got Nikki is trying to play two in the middle, like, I love both my granddaughters, but if you really want to do this, follow your heart, knowing that your husband is going to do everything in his power to keep them two apart.
And he told Kyle's daddy to his face that he's going to make that happen.
Yep. And only for her to go over there and try to put her foot down, and Victor's just lying through his teeth.
Like, I don't want Kyle to be with any of my granddaughters. And then he's listening in the background as Claire is talking to Kyle, trying to set up a date. Like,
she's stupid to even take that phone call in the house.
Like, you can't take this in your car.
Girl,
y'all are young. Y'all don't text.
Right, girl, she should know that her grandfather do not want them two together. And then you're going to take a phone call talking about, oh, yeah, I'll meet you for a date. And then Kyle, on the flip side, I'm like, don't y'all do it? Well, I guess he was in private. Summer stuck her head in the door. Because wasn't nobody on that patio.
And then you got Diane, who's also getting a seat. Like, she's really egging on, pushing him to be with Claire, knowing, and I think she knows.
Take fault with Diane on that one, because if one of my kids was looking, they're like, look, Mom, I need some time to go on a date. Let me watch the kids. I would do it.
Yeah, but her motivation since the beginning of this week is anti-Phyllis, and that includes her daughter. She knows Summer does not like her. She doesn't like Summer. She likes the fact that she's winning points with her son, and she thinks that's because of Claire's influence. Mm-hmm. She knows, she's well aware. That's why she really was in shock when Jack had told her that Summer wants Kyle back. She really wasn't shocked by that, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she annoyed me this week, especially when she was talking about Phyllis, saying like, "Oh, she's not qualified. Are you sure you can trust her?" I'm like, "Ma'am, you weren't qualified for the position over at your job. Your son had to scheme just to get work done over at your job." Just saying. Talking about people who's unqualified. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens. Look like we got that spoiler where we saw, or the promo, where we saw Holden sliding up to, Lord, you know it's been a long week, sliding up to Claire at the bar. And according to Monday's episode, it looked like, I guess Summer is going to interfere with that date somehow.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, so because obviously she must have pulled a, oh my God, Harrison is sick or something. Who knows? Yeah. And I don't like her using Harrison always. Well, I mean, with my grandfather coming after you, you know, what do you think is going to happen with Harrison? I'm like, you do realize that's Kyle's son too.
Right, and clearly Kyle was okay with it. He's like, I don't care. Like what is he going to do? How is he going to interfere? Especially when that's supposed to be his grandson, he should care about. But the way that Claire looked at Holden, she was like, "Ooh."
Yeah, did you see that? But she had a little. She was like, "Ooh, this is strong." So she over there drinking and whatnot.
Right. I mean, this is the same girl who said, like, I don't like alcohol.
Well, she gonna be drinking.
Okay, now we're having martinis or Concertos, whatever she was drinking. Okay, they made her grown up now.
Girl, they don't know what to do with these characters. Let me stop. I think I saw something of a rewrite somewhere. I meant to bring it up. I'm trying to think of
with which character.
I was thinking about it earlier, and I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that a rewrite? But it'll come back to me probably, and I'll drop it in the chat or something. Or if I remember it here, I'll bring it up.
Okay.
And then the last thing we got to talk about is this whole thing with Sharon and Phyllis and the mystery voice on the intercom. Okay. I mean, I find it entertaining because the way that both Sharon Case and Michelle Stafford make it so funny when they go back and forth with each other.
And you can tell that two actors have great chemistry with each other, especially after 30-something years. Like it's like butter with these two. And I really enjoy. That's why it's taller. The storyline's kind of tolerable for me. And plus, I like to play the guessing game and trying to figure out who Jigsaw is. I'm curious to know if the chat has a inkling on who this is.
Okay, so who you guys in the chat, who do you think is behind the intercom voice? Let's see what they say. Who's behind the intercom voice? I'm checking.
Do you have any idea, T?
I want to be surprised. I haven't even tried to dissect that. Mr. Finisher said Drew. I see a lot of people saying Michael.
Honestly, that's who my thought was. But Drew, that is a great one.
Tessa or Faith, Ian.
They dropped a lot of hints stating that it's somebody with deep pockets and clearly loves them both and cares about the both of them, really connected to the both of them. And I really think it's Michael. It can't be Nick, like they were thinking. They were listing off people it couldn't possibly be. But like I had a theory earlier today, but I'm about to change my mind again. But I honestly think it could be Michael. I mean, what else is he doing? He doesn't care about his wife. Because between working for Victor, he has all that free time and not for his wife.
That girl said Esther. I don't know if it could be Esther.
Look, if Esther is a mastermind like this, I got to give her credit. Absolutely give her some
did
credit.
you notice them that her and Charlie is still dating?
Really?
Because I don't know if you missed it, but when Daphne had the perfume and Charlie came into the office, he was like, "There's a little lady in Genoa City who I would like to get some for." You don't remember him? Remember that?
Oh, I almost missed that part. So he and Pam are done. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what it
Esther.
seemed like, but that's what he said. Because I know a lot of people after everything that happened when she came to the fashion show, whether or not her and Charlie was still talking. And then when we saw Daphne a couple weeks ago, I meant to bring that up and I forgot about it. But and I know we still on Young talking about that, but it was just interesting. I just thought about that when we was talking about Esther, on Y&R, that her and Charlie is still talking.
Well, good for them. I'm excited for them. Esther got a man.
Mm-hmm. Her and Tracy, they didn't came up.
And did you hear that Alan/Martin was talking about
Marriage.
marriage? I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's next
oh.
week. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's about. But anyway, because we're gonna have to close this one up so we can move on to Bowl. Um, yeah, that whole thing I gotta say was keeping me into the kidnapping story of Phyllis and Sharon is the fact that they are hilarious with some of their lines. The way they throw shades and snide remarks and they make it funny. And like you said, Bree, when you work with somebody for 30 years,
yeah,
there's a chemistry with these two.
And I think they did an interview together. I think Michelle said like this is one of her favorite storylines, and that the fact that they get to really work with each other for an extended period of time, and this is something that they both wanted for both of their characters. And I think we talked about it earlier in the chat too. They mentioned this sometime last year too, but now this has come to fruition at this stage.
Right.
But I'm glad that this is for one. It shows that both of the actresses really enjoy the storyline.
Right. Yep, I agree. It was so funny when Phyllis was going to try to bust that window and Sharon was like, "You want us to freeze to death?" Because when you bust that window, all that cold air in Wisconsin is going to come blowing in here. And I'm like, well, she got a point there.
But I'm so confused because like the way the characters dress on the show, it doesn't seem like it's winter.
Yeah, so, especially when I see people like somebody, who was that? Was that Diane? Somebody was walking with their coat on, but they had on some heels. Now, granted, I get it. People might want to wear heels in the wintertime, but it better not be no snow on the ground.
But no one's like really wearing like a heavy coat. I think Lily had on like a really pretty like fuchsia sort of dress, but like nobody's like complaining about the cold. I don't know. But maybe that's just a writer's fault. But I mean,
what I don't understand is everybody living at the GCAC. I mean, it's like Jack is a billionaire. You don't have like some
an
cottage,
extra house,
right? Some cottage you could go to. Everybody's. I mean, Summer owns Marchetti. You've been living in that hotel for months.
Not years.
Years.
It's been 2 years.
I mean, Adam got a whole house, and then somebody else, Billy, got a house now.
Yep.
But at some point, it's like you got all these rich people living up in a hotel like that.
That's why I give Daniel props. He was in the hotel for a year, and then shortly after he got a whole apartment. Whereas his sister was there since she got divorced from Kyle, which was about 2 years ago. Phyllis has been living in that same hotel.
Yep.
Sally, since she's been on a YNR, has been living in the hotel.
And I get it. People, sometimes they have extended stays. Some people do rent it out, something small. But these folks have money. Y'all should be able to, like even Jack said, why don't we go up to the cabin? That's where you should have went in the first place after when the house was being
renovated. Right. I agree with that. I'm like, with this 4-year contract, I would have figured they would have had more sets, different things. It seems like they showcase the GCAC Society, Victor's cabin, Victor's Ranch,
Crimson Lights,
Sharon's house, and the Tack House every now and again, but that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We happen to be in Nate's apartment for a condo or whatever. So.
Yep. And we don't ever see Lily's condo at all. It's like we get certain scenes, and I'm like, it's not like Beyond the Gates.
Yeah, so anywho. Did we cover everything over on YNR?
That's all they gave us. We gave all the right seats.
Yeah. Well, we definitely got some stuff to talk about at the end of the show. All right, let's move into Bold. We have about 2.5 storylines.
That's usually how it's been for the past couple of years.
What is your thoughts on Taylor trying to force Steffy to leave her husband?
First of all, she's trying to force her daughter to leave her house, and her daughter his name is on the deed. She bought the house. You're telling her to go back to her granddaddy's house just because you and Ridge are choosing to stay there.
Right.
And it's for her own safety. And keep in mind, they have the assumption that Luna is in jail.
Right.
So what is her leaving the house going to do? Once again, she using her degree for no reason. Her degree is from Fisher Price.
Girl, you
serve no purpose.
That is hilarious.
It's the truth. Her and Nicole. But like, what is going over to Eric's GCAC going to do? And plus, what makes them think that Eric was all them people over at his house? It's disrespectful. Nobody wants all those people in their house. I know I wouldn't.
You know what? What's interesting is when it comes to Finn, Steffy always run. And something, even like this whole reason, we always talk about the reason that she was over there at Luna's, because what she do? She ran. When she should have figured that whole thing out with her husband when it was Hope that kissed him, right?
Right. Or she could have choked out Hope the same way Lee choked out Poppy in that preview or something. She didn't have to leave her husband for that.
Right. But you wouldn't even been in that situation. Because I can guarantee you that Hollis and the other girl, Hollis and Tom would have been an afterthought. Like, oh yeah, 2 men got killed. But you lumped them into this because you had something to do with this too. You ain't never was supposed to be there in the first place, ma'am.
Or better yet, she was at Bill's house. She could have confronted Bill. But once again, look at Olivia Benson just trying to save the day. I have a lot of like mixed emotions when it comes to Steffy and her.
I'm laughing at Aisha. Aisha said that's why she got a bullet.
Okay, it's like you're scared one minute, then you want to confront the very person you're scared of the next. Yeah. What is with you? That's why I don't understand, and that's why when it comes to Taylor has not been in LA to witness how her daughter really moves, for her to say that her daughter is fearful of these people. Clearly she's not, especially after what we saw today.
Yeah, I mean, you are absolutely correct, because she's telling her to leave Finn because of the threat that Luna could pose being his daughter. But instead, she says, no, I'm going to stay with my husband. But then you kill your narrow behind over to Bill's house to confront the person that they trying to keep you from.
Right. And then in the same breath, threaten the very said person that you're scared of. And keep in mind, what is the threat's going to do? Because genetics is still genetics.
Well,
it's one thing to keep.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's one thing to keep Sheila away. You're going to tell him to stay away from his child?
Yeah, see, that was what I was about to say. How this man just found out that he has another child, a grown child, and the same kid that he thought was his cousin is now his daughter. And you saying, I'm gonna need you to be like on, what was that movie, Men in Black, and just zap everything out your memory? There's no way he's not gonna be able to not think about that kid.
His child. He even said that was his little girl. And granted, we know she did some absolute messed up stuff. We get that. Not even giving her a pass on that at all. However, that is his child, right or wrong. No parent's going to turn away their child. Steffy can feel however she wants to feel. But for her to tell her husband, completely forget about your child, that is absolute crazy to me.
Yeah, I was like, do you actually think he's going to do that? You already got him not talking to his biological mother. But now part of his legacy is out there. Not only Hayes, he has a grown daughter. Granted, the circumstances was jacked up how it all happened. But it's still his biological child. And you telling him, don't speak of her, don't even think about her. Can we not ever talk about her ever again? It's like, how do you figure that's going to work?
Right. Making absolutely zero sense. She done lost her mind. And then talking about, like, I'm scared. I don't want to be around her. Look at all the things that she's done to her. She put me in the cage. The same Steffy who decides to go over to Bill's house to confront this girl.
Yeah.
Talking about you don't have a daddy. Like, you're not a part of our family. You're not a part of this, girl.
And I do see some comments in the chat. Of course, you would not want somebody like that around your family. And I don't think Finn will be like, oh yeah, come in here and live with us. I don't even think it'll be a situation like that. But to tell him, don't think about her, don't speak about her. I don't ever want to hear you talk about her ever again. I just think that is just so unrealistic.
That's more what I'm coming from, because he's already saying that he has a pull, that he wished that he could have been there for his daughter. He wished he could, even though at 18 it made no absolute sense, but he wants to be there for her now. She has absolutely no place, in my opinion, she has no place to tell her husband not to be there for his child. Because if the shoe was on the other foot and it was one of her kids, she would completely ignore what this man had to say. She ignores what he has to say in general anyway.
Right.
But she would not listen to this man telling her to stay away from her child. She done lost her mind. She wouldn't even take her own advice.
Yeah, well, I mean, she can be mad, Jenna. Because Jenna said, what is she supposed to do? I mean, be mad, but he's put in an impossible situation. He had no idea.
She can leave.
First of all, Poppy lied for decades about this person. Second of all, Bill did something stupid to pull her out of jail to bring her up in the house with him. Finn is like, stuff is just falling in my lap left and right. It's not like he sought out. He knew he had a kid. He hid it from Steffy. Him and Poppy been keeping this secret from everybody. That man is new to this just as Luna is new to this.
Right. Bill is more aware of the situation more than he is.
Exactly.
And This is why he's also getting a seat. That's why I cannot
We're
wait
not. Hold
for
on.
all
Hold
this to
on. Hold
catch up
on.
to
Hold on.
him.
Hold on. We're not judging her. We're not judging her.
No.
She get to choose to feel the way that the storyline is written. The Steffy character get to choose how she chooses to feel. At the same time, Finn has been completely blindsided by all of it.
Right. And granted, he put himself in this predicament regardless if he was in Luna's life or not. He shouldn't be a participant as a father. He made himself a father by sleeping with his adoptive aunt. He should have never had done that to begin with, 18 or not. But if Steffi does not want to deal with this, she does not have to. She can leave her marriage.
Yeah, she got every choice to do that. However, I see people saying, take her kids. She's going to have to work out something with Hayes. That's his child too.
Right.
One thing about me is that I see both parents in situations. So as much as she's the mother, Finn is also Hayes' father. So they're going to have to figure out something in regards to their child that they have together.
I agree with that. And she already said he's a great father. She knows what type of father he's going to be. So why would she even doubt how he's going to treat Luna? She knows that he's going to be there for her. For her to say, forget about Luna, never think of her again, never speak of her again, that is unrealistic. Not to say that she doesn't have a right to feel how she feels. Of course she does.
Yeah, she's been blindsided. She's been blindsided. Finn has been blindsided. Poppy and Lee is definitely about to be blindsided because Lee about to choke her out.
Oh, that was a beautiful scene. I think I've seen it at least 6 times. The way that she grabbed that neck. Ooh, I can't wait for that.
Lee is about to be blindsided more than anybody else on this show.
And Poppy about to go blind. But like I said, Steffi has a choice. She was about to leave Finn for far less over a kiss he didn't want. Here is her exit. If she cannot deal with the fact that he wants to be in his daughter's life, she can leave. And the thing is, I don't think Bill, Finn, her parents would have thought anything of it. Like, okay, that's understandable. It really is. But she's choosing to stick with her marriage. But at the same time, she cannot dictate how her husband's going to move when it comes to his child, his biological child.
Yep. So
is that the silent assassin on the line?
What you talking about? Wait a minute. She done snuck in the back door again? Oh my God. What's up, Keish? She came right in at bowl. What you got? Oh Lord.
I just got finished watching Beyond the Gates.
Oh, okay. What you got on the whole Steffi, Finn, and Luna storyline? Let's Keisha have the flow.
I think they're both valid in their feelings. I think, Steffi can ask Finn not to speak to Luna or incorporate Luna in his life, and he can tell her that he's not going to do that, and they can go their separate ways. Or he can decide to do that. He can decide to pick his wife. He can decide to pick his daughter. It'll be up to him. She's not forcing him to do anything. She's telling him what she doesn't want to deal with, and asking him to do, what she's asking him to do. But he doesn't have to do that, and he can choose to be in Luna's life. He just will have to be okay with losing his wife over it. I don't know. It is definitely a tough situation. I would say that Lee and Steffi were more blindsided, even more so than Finn, because Finn knew that he slept with Poppy. He knew that that was always a possibility, and he chose to believe Poppy when she told him, which I mean, it's valid. He was 18. She said there's no way that it could be yours. But he knew that he knew that they slept together. So all these years, there had to have been some type of suspicion in the back of his mind that Luna could have been his child. So of the three of them, Steffy and Lee, probably especially Lee, are the most blindsided of this, because there was even no clue that him and Poppy had that kind of relationship back then. And Lee especially, I feel bad for her. She was betrayed, not just blindsided, but betrayed by her sister. So that little preview that we got for next week, I 1000% am on Lee's side. Like, that is, I could not imagine being a mother and hearing that about your child, that your sister did that to your child, your virgin child at that. So I could understand. Yeah. I could understand somebody seeing red and just completely losing it and physically attacking that person. So I have no sympathy for Poppy, and I am all for whatever Lee does to her.
Me too. And did you see that she choking her out in Lee's office?
Mm-hmm.
So you getting choked out where Lee has her scalpel. She has all kind of drug medication.
All type of surgical supplies, huh?
You know, and my thing is, the minute Finn found out, I would have left town, because we all know Finn cannot hold water. She knew Finn was going to tell Steffy, and Lee was going to find, and he was going to tell Lee. He wasn't going to keep that from them. Poppy should have left town, because she's living with Lee. Right? Doesn't she still live with Lee that we know of?
Oh, that we know of.
Yes. That's right. Oh, wow. Well, not anymore.
Yeah. She might be moving in with her bestie, her new bestie now.
Yeah. Look, I don't feel any sympathy. I don't think anyone feels any sympathy for Poppy. I didn't feel any sympathy for her last year, because I knew she was up to nothing.
Yeah, you thought she was the killer.
I thought she was a lot of things. Oh, don't
Bree was adamant that it was Poppy.
I know. That took out Tom and Hollis.
Look, I mean, technically speaking, had she just been honest from the gate. Mm-hmm. But no, she just had to keep them secrets. But I feel terrible for Lee. Mm-hmm. I feel horrible. That's why I was always on Lee's side, because she sensed something wasn't right about her sister, and she was right. She wasn't wrong. There is just no way that Poppy can come back from what she's done. That's why she chooses to stay quiet. She was literally playing in Lee's face. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw that clip, or the way that Lee grabbed at that neck, that was however 30-something years, 40 years of frustration with her sister.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And she was tired of it. This is the same Lee who took her in, helped her get a job, everything.
Yeah, that was some serious vitriol. Keish, I wanted to ask you, what did you think about Taylor asking Steffy to move out and leave her husband?
It didn't make any sense to me why that was her advice, especially because she doesn't even know that Luna's at Bill's house.
I think that's what you said, Bree, right? Bree? Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't make it. It made zero sense. Like, what is Steffy moving into Eric's gonna do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what was the point? What would be the point of that? I think she mentioned something about Sheila's gonna try to come back around again, because she's gonna find this news out, and she's gonna want to be back in Finn's. And it's like, but why? Like, what would that do? If they think Luna is behind bars, why would Sheila come back around to Finn again? Like, it wouldn't make any sense.
And on top of that, who would want to tell Sheila anything?
Well, we know she would find out.
Yeah.
Look,
because she's married to Deacon. She's married to Deacon, and everybody's gonna find out. Like Hope, Brooke, it's gonna come out that that's Luna's father. And I could imagine that Hope would tell Deacon, and Deacon would tell Sheila. So they wouldn't be able to keep that one from her.
Yeah. Well, then she would be going over. Well, if Sheila finds out everything, she'll be going over to Bill's house, not the GCAC. Eric's GCAC.
Yeah, that's why I didn't understand Taylor's logic with that.
She once again, she doesn't know anything. She's been stuck underneath Ridge this whole time.
That's the part complaining that got about me. Her heart. Yeah, that's the part that got me. I mean, you can clearly see the only reason that he's not with Brooke is because of the fact that of this whole coup. Otherwise, if Brooke had kicked out Hope, they would have still been together. But you telling her where she need to go. Should you even be in the relationship you in?
She sure shouldn't.
Right.
But Taylor is the last person that needs to give advice on who to be with and when to leave. And it's like, lady, for 20 years you have been pining over Ridge. You couldn't even live in LA because you couldn't stand the fact that he was married to Brooke. But you're gonna try to give somebody else relationship advice.
But decided to come back to LA because of Ridge after seeing him, not because of your kids and everything that everything your kids went through. You would have thought she would have came back after the stuff with Luna, but she came back after the fact.
Yeah,
but actually before the fact, everything that came up with Thomas, everything that. There were so many life instances that Taylor has missed. That's why when it's like she does not know her daughter. But when she said that, Steffy, she always fights. She never runs away from a situation. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, that's crazy. But that was my. I gotta say this. This is what my biggest thing was, because there was a lot of comments under my recap on this episode that Taylor was telling her to do that, because people was like, well, if I was a mom, I would tell her to do the same thing. It wasn't even about that. What it was about is her trying to give somebody advice about being in a relationship or not, when you technically shouldn't be with Pinecone Poppy right now. That's why I was saying what I was saying, because that man is only over there because he's mad at Brooke right now. But what happens if they get the company back and she's like, I didn't agree with Hope all this time and blase, blase, blase. He going to be right back up in the bed with Brooke.
Exactly. Over at her
But there was also no real... Sorry, Bree. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good, girl.
I was just going to say there was just also no real logic behind what Taylor was saying. Again, because... as far as she knows, Luna is behind bars. So even if Finn wanted to talk to Luna on the phone, she's still not out in public, in the general public, where she could, I guess, attempt to hurt Steffy again from, what Taylor's concerns were. Okay. So it was just, there was nothing about it that made sense to me.
Okay, so we don't speak in absolutes over here. All right? No, we're not saying because Taylor was not around, she has no right to be concerned about her child. She has every right to be concerned about her child. We're not talking about absolutes. Not at all. Go ahead.
Can I say something to that?
Sure.
She has every right to feel how she feels, and she can try to relay advice. It's just coming from her just doesn't make any sense. I can see that coming from Ridge because he's been there through everything when it comes to his daughter. And it's the dialogue that she had with Ridge is almost as if she didn't know Steffy was the type to run away from situations, that Steffy was the type to confront the very person that she's scared of. And you want this girl to go to her granddaddy's house for what? This is the same girl who went over to confront Sheila, to confront Luna, knowing it was bad for her to do so. So it doesn't make any sense that you're telling her to leave when clearly Steffi does whatever she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she does whatever. I just want to know what the safety issue was. Taylor never really, to me anyway, she never really explained what the safety issue was, because her thing was she'll be safe at Eric's. But safe from what? Because she hasn't had any interaction, or Sheila hasn't tried anything with her for what, a year and a half, or almost 2 years. I don't know how long it's been, but Sheila hasn't been an issue. So, and again, as far as she knows, Luna's in jail. So where is the safety issue at that Taylor is referring to?
My thing is, safety issue or not, they're biologically connected to both Sheila and Luna. That's just not going to change.
Yeah,
and she's still choosing to be in that marriage.
Yep, it is what it is. At the end of the day, Steph has got to make a decision. Either she gonna try to work through this and stick it out, or she gonna say, you know what, I'm done. You got your bio crazy mom Sheila. Now you got your Luna as your daughter. I don't think I can deal with this. I'm gonna need to pack it up. She got some decisions to make.
Right, and then figure out how to co-parent Hayes.
Correct.
And the only other way for Steffi to get out of the situation is if the writers, and I know a lot of people don't want this, if they go back to that old paternity thing with Finn and Liam, and Liam would be Hayes's child, then she would be completely removed from all things Sheila, all things Luna, if the writers were to go that direction. But we haven't heard anything in regards to that, or if they would ever go in that direction. So if she doesn't want to be in her marriage with Finn, if she doesn't want to deal with his genetic ties, because it's more than just Luna and Sheila, all of Finn's siblings, Ryder, Daisy, all them crazies. Yeah. She has to either accept it or not, and just co-parent Hayes and call it a day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Kick Finn out of your house.
It looks like so far she's not leaving Finn, because her whole purpose in going over and confronting Luna is basically to tell her that she's not going to have anything to do with Finn. So to me, I mean, right or wrong, whether you agree with it or not, she did that because she still wants to be with him. Otherwise, she just would have took her stuff and told Finn, I'm going to my grandfather's house. I'm not doing this anymore with you.
You know what I think is going to be the tipping point for Steffi? Because I understand that aspect of it. Clearly, she loves him. But if he works to try to help her, clear her name, or get a legal defense, because Steffi made it clear that she's going to make her pay and send her back to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So if Finn gets in the way of that, somehow either getting a lawyer, getting his dad involved, something, then she's going to leave that man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Yeah, and you know what? I wouldn't blame her, because I would be pissed too if the person that callously had me locked up and basically laughed in my face about me getting ready to be unalived was sitting in the lap of luxury at a billionaire's estate and not in jail where they belong. I would be pissed too, and I'll be trying to figure out a way to get them back into the system.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, she would have to deal with Bill too, because he worked to try to get that girl out of the system. Mm-hmm. And Bill would have to choose between Steffi and Luna in that moment too. Who is he going to really try to help in a situation?
Well, we saw the promo.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's making
she going to fight. So she got to fight a whole billionaire and also her husband's feelings towards his daughter. So she might as well just go ahead and leave. But I guarantee by May sweep, she's gone.
Yeah, well, there's like Gail says in the chat that, and I saw this before earlier in the chat. They was saying how it's possible Luna have a tumor. What do y'all think?
Didn't they? I mean,
that would be another easy
redemption.
A lazy redemption story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm like, I keep hearing this thing about the tumor. They said the same thing about Hope when she was with Thomas, that maybe she had a tumor, not thinking straight. But clearly, well, we see how Hope is now. I mean, if they go that direction, I guess, or wouldn't she have like symptoms like headaches and, it seems like this girl is active and lively, not listening to adults.
Bree, what they might do is just like everything else, automatically, like we found out that Carter had been loving on Hope for a year and a half out of the middle of nowhere. So maybe she'll just happen to drop and have something out of the middle of nowhere. Girl, who knows?
Yeah, she'll probably pass out one day. I look, with the way that they have done all these rewrites in the last month and a half, it wouldn't surprise me for them to pull something like that out of nowhere, because they pull storylines, plots, details, whatever. They pull it out of thin air and just throw it into the story, regardless of what we saw a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 months ago, 10 years ago. They will change it, and they don't care. They don't care how inaccurate it is to the history of the character or the history of the story. They literally just do whatever they want to do. Whatever is going to drive the plot. It doesn't matter how illogical it is. That's what they're going to do. And that's what has always bothered me about this show.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
I agree. Well, we got Carter and Hope and Daff.
Oh, Carter.
Carter got feelings for Daff.
Yeah, he was reminiscing over Pepe Le Pew. I was like, okay, so maybe the sit is actually working. Good job, Steffy, for getting, it's weakening him. It really is. And not Steffy. I love how Daphne really was checkmating Hope at every statement that she made in that office.
Yeah, that, you know what? Hope is full of it. Because, I mean, you're going to sit up there and talk about how Carter is the love of your life. Are you crazy?
Okay.
That had to be the funniest line of the year, and we ain't even halfway through the year yet.
I fell out. That was so
why were you going back and forth for over a decade over Liam? What was that about then?
Right. And then you had Thomas, who was all for her, giving her a ring every month. And she was Lord of the Rings at that point. And she couldn't say I love you until it was time for him to get on the plane and head to Paris.
Well, the interesting thing is she kept telling Carter, talking about, about my past and how the men treated me. And I'm like, what did Thomas do to you? That man would drink your bath water, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and let's not forget Wyatt. What did Wyatt do to you? So she it's whatever excuse fits tacky for the future, I guess.
Tacky for the future.
Yeah, it's on par with everything else. I mean, look at how she talks about her history at Forrester Creations. You would think that they've had Hope chained up in the basement all these years, and just somebody coming down screaming in her face every 10 minutes about her line. That girl has been treated better than Thomas, treated better than Steffy at some points, treated better than Thorne, literally treated better than just about anybody with the last name Forrester at that company. But all of a sudden, her and Brooke feel like they've never been valued at that company, and nobody ever supports them or has their back. So everything in this woman's life is a delusion. Like, she is delusional. There's no self-awareness with her. Yeah, no self-awareness, no accountability. It's just the
My
minute
way or
that
the
she,
highway. Mm-hmm.
well, it's the same. It's like if she doesn't get what she wants, then suddenly, for the last 15 years, that's how this has been. It's like, where have you been for the last 15 years? Like, what are you talking about? Where is
I
all this
agree.
coming from?
And that's
And
what.
that's how her love life is.
Yeah. And she's an active participant in that too, and won't
Mm-hmm.
take any accountability of her actions. But what I loved about Daphne is Hope comes in acting like she's territorial. She looked like a whole little girl, and Daphne is just standing there like a whole woman, like, okay, what do you want? Yeah, what I did was wrong, but what about what you did? And she just, and Hope is just choked up with words like,
there's a
like,
missed
what did you talk
opportunity
about?
in there too, because this what they should have gave Daphne a line to when she was like, "How dare you kiss Carter when you know we're in a committed relationship?" She should have threw a line in there and says, "Well, how dare you kiss Finn when you knew he was married?"
Right.
Yeah, but she couldn't really do that. That would have gave her cover away. But I agree that should have
But
been
I mean, that
something.
would have. I mean, that would have gave her cover away. But obviously, her working there and knowing the one of the reasons why Hope thinks she got fired and all this old kind of stuff. Yeah, Hope got fired because her line sucked, and she won't take accountability for that because she keep throwing that up. You see what they did to me and how they fired me and they humiliated me in front of a group of people. Ma'am, you walked in the hallway, saw an audience. Y'all remember that scene? She saw people,
Yep.
she saw them girls or whoever that was in the hallway and made a whole scene. They didn't do that to you. You walked out there and made a scene.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And she could have just been honest and said, "Oh, I was putting on lingerie for Carter." It could have been as simple as that, but she chose not to do that. And technically speaking, her line was a whole humiliation for a year. She showed that she had no taste, no, her line was invaluable. The buyer said, "Look, we don't want it no more. Go ahead and return back to sender." Even Claire doesn't even want the line anymore. So, and on top of that, Carter had the projections saying that this line was a failure, but she wants to put the blame on Steffi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
How the Foresters treated me after all these years, girl. Please.
you've been living in the lap of luxury since day
How
one.
long did Thorne have to work down in the mailroom?
The
Like they
basement.
Is
I
the
feel like they sent
basement?
Thorne to the basement once a quarter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was in the basement since season 2. Seriously. You can go back to scenes. He's been in the basement since season 2, no matter who was playing Thorne. Like, and he had the fight to even just be president. Keep in mind, Brooke's kids have been president, vice president, CEO, and Hope had a whole fashion line courtesy of her auntie's pettiness against Steffi. And she's had that line from when graduating high school to now. But she's talking about she wasn't treated right by the Foresters. Hell.
Jenna said, "Would y'all look at Hope's dress?" Hold on. She said, "Would y'all look at Hope's dress? That dress looked like a rug. I can see why her clothes are at the Goodwill."
And the Goodwill has sent it back. They don't even want that no more. They had to go send that back to the Salvation Army. And keep in mind, she's not even excited about her own line. She's talking about the jewelry launch and the perfume launch, every other launch except for the fashion line. Because she has no real taste in fashion. That's why she's tacky for the future.
Zende is more excited about that. He wanted a whole perfume design for Hope for the future. I'm like, you doing all the work, my guy. Where's your boss? She around here
Right.
causing trouble.
Right.
Exactly. He's remembering all the meetings and the deadlines and everything. And she has this lost in the sauce of just being drunk with power. She doesn't even care about her line while she keeps throwing it in people's face and like, we have hope for the future back. Well, where is the fashions? You guys took over the company before Christmas and we're in the middle of March and no fashion.
Yeah, and see, this is where a lot of people was upset with Bold because they felt that instead of making Luna once again the focal point of February sweeps, this would have been an opportunity for them to try to fix the power struggle that's going on over at Forrester and give Forrester their company back. I mean, I sit back and I watch Ridge hang around at the house all day. I mean, when he was in the office with his glasses on, I like them glasses Torsten wear. Or Eric, I guess he's out hanging out with Donna, but it's just like, how long y'all gonna let this go on? And then they faked us out with that fake spoiler last week.
Oh, yeah, they good at the fake out spoilers because they made it seem like Finn wasn't going to tell Steffi where Luna was this week.
Right. And you see how that worked out. It's like, yeah, y'all definitely are trying to keep us off. I'm like, why put spoilers out if you don't want us to know what's going on anyway?
Yeah.
So.
And, like, what was the whole point of them doing that if Carter's already on the fence and wants to give the company away?
The only reason that he's hanging on is because of Hope. This girl obviously she holds the cords. But, because Daphne is like, look, this man is struggling. She don't care about that. And like Daphne called it out, you getting everything you want.
How dare you make that observation? You don't know me. What makes you think that I was catered to all these years?
Okay. Daphne was like, I seen people like you. Like, I know exactly who you are. But yeah, I mean, the way Hope looked like she was going to try to jack her up. I'm like, really, Hope?
And notice how Daphne didn't even
flinch.
She was cool, calm, and collected. Like, what are you going to do? What you going to do?
Right. So, anywho, I don't know. I mean, because do they break up next week or something? That promo where Brooke is back. And Brooke is like, so what does this mean for you and Carter? So I'm wondering what that's all about.
She probably told her mom about the kiss and...
Yeah, that's true. But then I'm looking... Huh?
Hope is going to hang on to that man until he no longer has that company. The minute Carter gives the company back, I bet Hope is gone.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. And they'll be right in time for her to try to go back after Finn when Steffy.
Yep. I'm just looking forward to that Lee and Poppy confrontation next week.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I need the episode. I need to know. I need popcorn. I can't wait. I need for next week to hurry up and get here. That's the scene I've been waiting for. I think we all been waiting for.
Naomi Matsuda is going to come with the heat.
Oh, yep. Yes. And the scalpels. And everything.
That little preview alone gave me flashbacks of Stephanie choking out Brooke.
Ooh, oh, yeah.
Lord, child.
It sure did.
And now, you know what? And I don't blame Lee one iota. You slept with my adopted son. You're my sister.
Yep.
I raised this boy from a baby, and you slept with him?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Poppy, like you said, Poppy, once Finn knew and was going to go and start talking to people, she should have hightailed it right out of L.A.
Yep. And now she's about to be an organ donor.
Dang.
Look, she in Lee's office. Anything goes. You see how she was treating her ex-husband, trying to get blood from him.
I know.
Imagine what she gonna do to Poppy.
We remember how she treated Poppy, and apparently has been doing it since their early 20s.
Yeah, ain't no forgiveness coming out of this one. It's done. I
Nope.
can't
Yeah,
see
there's no
Lee.
way.
There's no coming back from this one.
It
Not
would be
Nope.
it would be the most unrealistic scenario if in a few months Lee and Poppy are working on their relationship. Like, you've had this woman on the show for 2 years now, and Lee has been nothing but just a straight you know what to Poppy the whole time. Like, just blunt and just she hated Poppy. You felt like she really hated Poppy, to the point where we're all like, what in the world did Poppy do to this woman? Like, they still haven't explained it. So if she goes back, if they have her act completely different towards Poppy in a few months after finding this out, when before it was only about, I don't want to say only, but it was about thinking that she slept with her husband, this is 1,000 times worse. Like, infinity times worse than thinking that Poppy and your husband were having an affair.
right.
There's no way that they can have her acting, I don't know, acting as if she's willing to forgive Poppy for this.
Right.
I don't know how they would. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say she probably prefer her Poppy to slip with Jack.
Right, instead of her son.
Yeah, I don't know how they would do it if that's what their plan is, but they would have to stretch this out another 2 or 3 years before Lee even thinks about giving Poppy a chance.
Right. Well, we shall see. We shall see. So I think we covered everything. That whole conversation between Luna and Bill is just a waste of time to me. Yeah,
it really is a waste of months.
Yeah, a waste of months, exactly. They did a good month and a half, 2 months to trauma bond over their, their pasts and all that type of stuff. And then now, telling Bill that, Finn is my father and, he better keep his mouth shut. Yeah, good luck with that one, Bill. Too late.
Too late for that.
Steffy is over there. Right. So,
Yeah.
And then Tanner, I got to give Tanner a shout out. He did shed one tear earlier this week.
I saw it.
Oh, yeah,
I
when he was
saw
hugging
it.
Luna.
But you know what? I was looking for tears on both eyes. It was just one.
Look, it's something. Look, I'm gonna hang on to it. Good for him. He's capable of doing it. So there might be more when Steffi leaves him. But at least we got that tear. Good for him. Good for. I'm kidding, Tanner. If you're listening,
I know we're just messing with you, Tanner.
Yeah, we love you here. You a fine looking man, but
Mr. Liberty Bibberty.
Yep, exactly. We. I love this. I love to see the range of emotion for this character.
However, Jacqueline,
she was
Lord,
really good today.
Good grief. She went from sobbing to sad to rage over at the house.
Yeah. Yep.
That's why she get the Emmys.
Yeah, she was, and even her confrontation with Luna was good. I mean, just the one from today, and I bet next week it'll be even more.
Oh, once Bill gets involved, oh yes, I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, but did y'all see Luna's face after she said what she said? I saw Sheila in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Sheila's genes are strong without question. That's why everybody's waiting for Finn to kick in his Sheila genes too.
Listen, girl, you had been calling it since last year. You've been calling that girl Baby Sheila.
It seems to only affect the women because Ryder isn't like Sheila.
Ryder was a follower.
Mm-hmm. For the most part, Sheila has daughters, right? She has more females in her family than not,
she
right?
Only got the
one other son she has is not like Sheila.
Right. Well,
yep. So Finn and Ryder are her only two sons, but the other one, Diana, Mary, what's the other
Daisy.
girl? Daisy, yeah. So
they all just like her.
They should turn Lucy dark. They need to cross Lucy over.
Right. So, because wasn't Luna talking about, like, I need a friend? Look, you got a whole family member over in Genoa City.
Yeah,
Y'all could
that's
trade.
her cousin.
Cousin. Yep.
Yeah, I got a question. Luna was saying today that she has a future now. I'm trying to understand what future she thinks she has. Like, yes, you are on house arrest, but you're also on house arrest. Like, it's house arrest. You can't leave the house. What is this future that you're talking about?
She probably thinking about a future with Finn.
Yep.
That
and she knows her daddy's going to save her.
Yeah, even though she's, either in prison or a house arrest, Finn is going to always pop up. Because she know how Finn is.
But what is the future that she's going to have?
A future with him.
The future with her father. She know her father's going to save her, and on top of that, she has Bill in her back pocket too.
Yeah, so I don't.
She's about to get off of these charges.
I think Keisha, you thinking about future like what? Maybe
like freedom.
Yeah, I don't think
future.
Yeah, I don't.
I think she's going to get it.
I mean, they're definitely going to have to figure out a way to get her off of these charges because they're not that's not going to be where she shoots bold and beautiful for the rest of the time that she's on the show. But for it to come out of her mouth as if she's now expecting Finn to get her out of jail, quote unquote. That's what I was confused about. Like, does she think that that's what's going to happen? Is that Finn is going to try to figure out how to get her charges dropped?
I think so.
Yeah, that's probably
I really
something.
Think so.
Yeah, because obviously they want to keep Lisa Yamada around, and so they got to dig her out of this hole somehow.
I mean, I think Bill doing it. I don't know about Finn doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's already talking about that's his little girl. He wants to be around her. I feel he's gonna go to great lengths to try to give her legal support. That's why I'm hoping that maybe Jack comes back, because I would love to get his reaction on top of Lee's in regards to this whole paternity thing, because that's his granddaughter.
It's one thing to say I want to go to Bill's house and spend time with my daughter. It's another thing to say I'm going to get these charges dropped against her. These charges that also include kidnapping and attempted murder of my wife. I'm going to get these charges dropped. If Finn tried to do that, there would be there's no excuse for me. I don't care that is your child. She committed a violent crime against me. If you're going to go through great lengths to try to get those charges dropped, 1,000% Steffy needs to leave him, because he only gives a crap about trying to be, like she said before, you want to be everybody else's hero and you want to dismiss my feelings.
Well,
getting charges dropped is a whole other story. That's not just you wanting to be there for your daughter. Like, you're getting charges dropped for something that she also did to me.
If that were the case, then majority of the people on the soaps would be in jail. There's always a parent trying to help out their child. Look how Victor always tries to find a way to get his kids from serving jail time.
We know the focus of their story, though, is the fact that Finn always tries to be the hero to people that hurt Steffy, or is always trying to befriend and be there for people that hurt Steffy. Like, that's the basis of their story. That's not the basis of a lot of these other stories. A lot of these other stories, that kind of stuff is pretty much glossed over and overlooked. They're going to make that like a point of contention. It's not going to be one of those things, a typical, this is a soap, we're getting these charges dropped. That's going to be the main part of that story, like the focus of it. So, yeah, if he fights tooth and nail to get her charges dropped, that's 1,000% a very good reason for Steffy to leave him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And once again, she has a choice. If Steffy wants to try to throw Luna in jail, because I don't think that she pressed charges. I think it's the charges that she had with Tom and Hollis. But if Steffy presses charges, say I want her in jail, whatever the case is, and Finn goes against that, or let's say he quietly goes against that and has his dad defend her. I mean, Steffi has the option to still leave. She has the option to leave now.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's not going to change genetics.
Yeah, we done with this. I gotta move on to Beyond the Gates. But yeah, we'll see what happened with them and where they're gonna go with this. And obviously, they're gonna dig Luna out of this somehow, because obviously they have Lisa on whatever contract that they have. We don't even know if they even extended their contract or not. So
right, because it's March now.
It sure is. All right.
Oh.
Beyond the Gates. Yay. Ooh. Somebody told us only to spend 5 minutes on both.
We sorry.
Yeah, I gotta give it to Michelle Valjean. She knocked it out the park with this one. The ratings came out. I know I shared it with you guys in the group chat, but they did, I think, 72% better than the talk that was even in that slot. And they're also kind of, I'm going to have to say it, they're being like a crutch to Y&R and Bold and Beautiful.
And we see why.
Yeah, Belinda said that was her that said spend 5 minutes on Boa. I got you, Belinda. But anyway, yeah, I gotta give a shot. Everything, the storylines are moving, everything is interesting. We get romance of some kind 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh yeah.
We even got hints of risque, like Chelsea and her threesome, which is that bottom corner picture. When I saw that, I'm like, wait, is this BET or is this CBS?
Is it prime time or is this daytime?
Right. That shocked the mess out of me. I did not expect that. Somebody said, I think one of y'all said that they did it on days at some point.
Yes. They had a whole, coupling, like a throuple on days. I'm surprised that CBS even went this route. I'm surprised with the stuff that has happened on the Gates thus far. That's outside of what Y&R and Bold have done.
Okay, so one of the things, and yes, that was a big question mark last Friday on whether or not that stunt that Danny pulled at the wedding, whether or not it was a dream or was it real. And they did not disappoint. It was real.
Yep. I did not expect it to be real.
Me either.
Yep.
But I'm glad.
Carla Mosley is the girl, she's knocking it out the park.
Oh my gosh, she is great. I missed her so much on daytime.
Yes. She's about to snatch up all of the Emmys.
Even some of the other storylines. It's so many. We got Vanessa's husband. What's his name? The one that's with the gambling debts. The cardiologist.
I don't want to say Otis. I don't think it's Otis. It's something.
I forgot.
But I know
we don't get to see him a lot. So that's why I'm trying to remember his name. I know one of you guys in the chat would probably remember what his name was. But we got that as a new storyline. We happen to see Katie, what's her name? Katie McLean, that plays Danny's best friend.
Best friend.
She popped in there. The sets are amazing. The houses, they make references to, and this is some of the stuff that myself, Bree, and Keish was talking about in the group chat, you guys, is the fact that they kind of sort of connect the real world with the soap world, which the other shows on CBS, I don't watch GH or Days, but it seems like they try to not connect. So I think, like one of y'all said, they actually say Facebook, whereas one of the other shows, call it Face Place or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They reference real media outlets.
Mm-hmm.
They reference celebrity names. They reference brand
Brands.
names of clothes or,
Right.
whatever else. So it just feels more real.
Exactly.
And they use real music.
Yeah.
Especially for when they do their love scenes. The variety of different music, that is just it's refreshing all the way around. The acting especially. Carla, you are doing your thing, girl.
They're knocking it out the park. It's getting rave reviews. The ratings are in. They are killing it. And I know that there was a lot of naysayers at the first week. Well, unfortunately, naysayers, and I mean, you have the right to like what you like, so I don't want to, but there was some really negative Nancy's that was digging in hard. And, the show speaks for itself.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think it's just interest. The storylines, every episode has been interesting for me. There hasn't really been a filler episode, like where like Y&R and like Bold, not to talk trash about him, but there'll be moments where like there's like days of like filler. Whereas we're getting some storylines, some very interesting storylines to just really sink our teeth into. And I don't know, I'm just very intrigued, especially with the stuff that happened this week too.
Right. I agree. I totally agree. I mean, we got Danny trying to figure out her existential crisis. One moment she's crashing out, sliding down the wall over Bill, and then on the flip side, she's sneaking and creeping with Andre. Which I don't have no problem with that. Them two look good together. The chemistry is on point with those two. Then we got that other storyline with Leslie and Eva, who's trying to shake down Nicole and her husband Ted, because Ted got to supposedly have Eva is his daughter. So we got that storyline. Then we got Andre is in two different ones, because then there's this thing with Ashley, and Derek, and then Smitty and Martin, because he want to run for president, and the other guy, he want to go back to journalism, and there's this power struggles, who's going to take care of home and all this kind of stuff. Then we got the threesome. We got her other daughter, Danny's other daughter's husband,
Naomi.
And Jacob. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jacob. Jacob is a police officer who had to come and arrest his mama. And I don't know if you guys heard my recap. I was like, you need somebody to talk to, go call Chance, because he have experience with arresting. He got experience with arresting people who he's dated, family members.
Yeah, he's the prime expert on that. Go holler at him.
I know, right? So I just like the flow of the different storylines, especially since it's an hour show. It's not like stuck on one storyline. We had a flux of different things on a daily basis this week. So
yeah,
but
yeah, there's everything. It's a lot to sink our teeth into.
I know.
It feels so refreshing.
Yep. It is. I kind of, I this whole thing with Haley and Danny and stuff, I'm like, okay, she didn't marry the dude, leave him alone, go on and do your thing. I get it, she's hurt, obviously, because she spent years of marriage and blah, 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 but the dude been cheating for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my thing is with Haley and Bill is, it's like they're purposely flaunting it and throwing it in her face. Like Bill forced him to go to that wedding with that black male. He's living where they live at, where you could have picked any other gated community in the DC, Maryland, VA area, like the DMV area, but you chose to live in her gated community where her family is basically like the main family of that community. Like that's her family's country club. that's where you got married at. So it's like him and Haley are saying she needs to move on with her life. She needs to leave us alone. But you guys are in her face every 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you expect? Like you're literally, and it's not like Haley was a complete and total stranger that Bill had an affair with, and they fell in love, and the rest is history. This is a girl that she took into her family because, like Danny said, she was poor little orphan girl. She took her into her family. They treated her like family. She was her daughter's best friend, and then you do this. So they can't expect her to just decide to accept them because it's going to make them feel more comfortable.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think Danny said that even Bill looked at Haley as a daughter. And then they did a whole entire flip, and now she's the wife. Just the fact that she had no regard to how her friend Naomi felt, no regard to how the Duprees would feel after they invited her into their world, which is going to be very rare, especially in that community, in that type of wealth and opulence, only for you to basically laugh in their face, play in their face, and then telling people to get over it.
I wish
with some stale cookies.
I wish that they would have, at least this week, given us some scenes with Naomi and Haley, because it's basically just been Naomi and Danny going back and forth. But with that being Haley's former best friend, like she was the one that, pretty much brought her into the family. I wanted to see more scenes between them.
I agree. I'm surprised we haven't had that yet. Because I would have loved, the same way that Naomi told her daddy off, I really wanted her to tell Haley off.
Yeah.
I wanted that so badly. At least at the wedding, that would have been more than warranted. Like, hey, new stepmommy, X, Y, and Z, and then cuss her out.
Mm-hmm. I agree. What do y'all think about this whole thing with Leslie and Eva? I mean, that's diabolical.
Yeah, look, she's definitely lying to Eva.
Yeah, I'm what, like, Leslie, are Sheila and Leslie related or something? Did she get the same genes that Sheila had?
You're silly.
They the same person, it feels like. But anyway, yeah, she's lying to her daughter. I think Leslie is obsessed. And we got a little sneak preview of that last week or for next week. But like, if you know for sure that man is the father of that child, you would be screaming it from the rooftop. You wouldn't be waiting till this girl's pushing 40, do a sneaky, slithery way to try to get into the family. For what? Because the end result is the end result. If he's the father, he's the father. Why you have to go through these links?
Yeah.
To try to mess up the relationship between Ted and Nicole, or like try to get information to try to get back at him. Like, what is the purpose?
Right.
Because he would obviously take care of his daughter, and I'm wondering, like, what's Eva's reason for going along with that? Because she brought up, like, oh, you're not giving me child. He didn't give me child support. He even think about like this. I'm like, girl, you're pushing 40. You're grown. Get a job.
Well, the other thing is they gonna have to owe Kat an apology after this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love her, little Hillary Banks, little Ashley Banks.
I see the Eva Leslie relationship kind of like Claire and Kyle, or Claire and Jordan, where Eva has or Leslie has, or Dana, because that's her real name, has probably spent her entire life feeding this negative information about her, or about Ted, about her real father, like feeding all these bad stories about him. He's a bad person. He didn't want anything to do with us. He left us high and dry, just like feeding all that negativity into her brain from when she was little to get her to the point where she is now to want to just take revenge on him and ruin his life. Whereas, like you guys said, that she could easily flip his life upside down by just revealing the fact that Eva is his daughter.
Right.
She don't need to do any schemes. Yeah. So that to me is the biggest tell that Dana's lying to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's even trying to keep quiet as to how she made Eva, that position for Eva readily available for her. So, and Eva already suspected, like, hey, did you run that girl off of the road? Like, I know you like to jump on a motorcycle here and there. Was it you? And she put on them Sheila tears. How dare you?
Yep.
How dare you think this of me? Like, I would never do such a thing. I'm like, oh, goodness, you were diabolical. And I knew she was lying because, like, she's not even going by her real name.
Yeah.
Like, where did you get Leslie from?
And then she gonna go on the top of a roof and act like she gonna make a whole dramatic scene out of this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like because her daughter doesn't know that she caused that motorcycle accident, and she's clearly, suspicious of her mom in some ways. And then the way, like, how nice Ted is being to her, how nice Nicole is being to her, telling her how welcome she is and how grateful they are that she stepped in when her, because her other assistant is out. I feel like she's going to turn against her mother when she realizes, like, the lengths that her mother is going to try to ruin these people's lives who have been nothing but gracious to her.
Now, Patricia Kroom said, I don't think that that's her father. She lying to her. I don't know, because I guess until they get a DNA test, because next week, according to the spoilers, he's going to start bonding with her. And then we also saw that other preview where he's going to interfere with Leslie, telling her, you better not ever come over here or say anything or something. So I guess Mr. Ted do know Dana.
Yeah, which was kind of a shock because he didn't seem to recognize her when they were passing each other on the elevator. Unless he just wasn't looking.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't paying attention or something. I don't know. That was weird to me too, Keish.
Yeah.
So, what else we had? We had Andre and Ashley deliver that baby, and they named the baby after the both of them, and Derek is looking sideways.
Ashley Andrea. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I
you
guess.
Consult with your husband?
Right.
He didn't get to say.
Just naming her after random people.
Yes. But okay. I feel so bad for the firefighter. Like, it's clear that he knows that Andre is circling around Ashley. It's clear and evident. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and either he makes it difficult for her to where she cheats on him, or something eventually happens to where Derek and Ashley split up and Ashley and Andre actually have a chance. But it's pretty clear that's the direction they're going to go in, is putting those two together.
Eventually, and poor Derek, he going to be left in the cold.
And it's such a shame because Andre and Danny are really good together.
Oh, I know, Andre right?
And Danny? Because he and Ashley have chemistry too. It's like, but the spiciness is over there with Danny, and I don't want that to fizzle out and go away.
No, girlfriend. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't quite see the chemistry with Andre and Ashley.
Me either.
What? The way they were flirting since day one of the episode. I don't know. Maybe that's just
well, they were flirting. I just don't see the chemistry.
Yeah, it's very clear that they were. Well, I feel like it's one-sided flirting. I feel like Andre was clearly flirting with her. I didn't feel like she was flirting back. I felt like she was just being nice to him. So, but yes, he was clearly flirting with her, and it's clear that they're going to have them hook up in some way, but I don't see the chemistry with the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to see more of it because for me it seems like because they pair them in the same scenes more often than he does with Danny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't care because the scenes with Danny is hot, even if it's
the love scene this week with those two.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
girl,
goodness! Well, which one?
She showed up. Two, right? That was two because she took that coat off with nothing.
Yep.
And then when he was standing up at the door with his hands stretched across, watching her. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. And they're getting it on, and there's like all these windows, people can peep in, see it.
Well, did you see that? Because when he left, who was that came in there? That was one of her daughters.
I think Chelsea.
Chelsea came in there right after that. I'm like, ooh, that was a close call.
Right.
Sure was. Oh, goodness. Well, Chelsea gets her mommy's freaky gene. Without question.
That's crazy. But yeah, they need to keep them two together. Now obviously there's probably going to be more scenes of other folks, but yeah, them two top it off. They hot together.
Mm-hmm.
Without a question.
Yeah.
And her friend, Miss Vanessa, the realtor.
Mm-hmm.
Vanessa is a mess.
Oh my gosh. Like you gonna kiss this man in the mouth in public like this?
Girl, she can't get enough of that doggone, what is he, a fitness guy?
Yeah,
trainer at the country club.
Because she kissed him and took him in the closet at the country club, and then over at Uptown, she took him around the corner in the back there. I'm like, dang. It's like
and
that.
Like everybody goes to that bar, even your husband. She's just doing this.
Girl, her husband is knee deep in debt.
Yep.
The dude is giving away the kitchen sink. He's losing all his money.
Yeah, and he had to go to Joey, and we got the introduction of what's his name? I forget.
Lindstrom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the introduction of Joey, and he already looks like he's going to be a problem for this man.
Yeah, you heard what he said. He said, I'm going to put him in so much debt, he going to owe me forever.
Yeah.
Because you don't give money to someone, a gambling addict. Because all they're going to do is throw it down the hole anyway.
Yeah.
But my goodness. And apparently Vanessa comes from a rich family too. Because they were, I forget who Vanessa's husband's friend was at the bar. He was fine too. But they're like, hey, go to your wife, be honest with your wife, and see if you can get some money out of her. No, let me go this way. Let me do this. I'm like,
no, let me go this way. Mm-hmm.
See, this is why I said just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're smart. He's a whole heart surgeon.
Yeah, well, I don't know what he want to use this man. He said he's a mark. So I'm wondering if somebody gets ill or sick and this dude wants somebody offed. What are you going to have him do something in surgery and the person don't make it?
Ooh.
Or he could be, you know how, like mob families have their own personal doctors, so they never have to take like their people to the hospital, so it's reported and the police are called. Maybe he is blackmailed into being that kind of a doctor for them.
Well,
I don't know.
He gonna be like Michael to Victor. That's what's gonna happen.
I can see that.
I hope not. That would be terrible.
Listen, I mean, when you in that kind of debt, because remember, Victor still haven't forgiven him for Jordan and the Brussels sprouts. So that dude gonna be jumping through 1,000 hoops until he get to Victor's good graces, which is probably never.
And he doesn't even owe him any money. That's crazy.
Right. Oh my my God. Bobby Wobby said the same thing. Yeah, I mean, this man gonna owe Joey everything.
Yep.
Thank you for saying his name. I was stuck on it. His name is Doug. Doug is Vanessa's husband.
Okay, gotcha. Doug.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All these fresh new characters. It's hard to keep up with them. But Doug McBride.
Thank you, Mari. Thank you for the super chat, Mari. Yeah, you have a blessed weekend as well.
Thank you, Mari. Have a good one.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, he's cooked, and you not only you paid off his debt, but then you turn around and give him some more money on top of it.
Right.
I'm like, dude, you need he can't run because the debt is paid for, so you already owe him for the stuff he paid for, so he's done.
Yeah, like you didn't sign the deal with the debt, like the devil, like. It's not a good thing to owe a person a lot of money, because if you can't pay that back, someone's going to be playing operation with you.
Yeah, they're going to break his kneecaps.
So I'm glad to see we got this new addition to Joey. He's going to be a key player for a lot of things. And he can probably even go after Vanessa. Anything can go.
Something can happen. But I mean, he's gambling and she over there cheating, so.
She said they acted.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, she was saying that she was talking to Danny when they were sitting at the Uptown bar, and she said it's not even like a marriage, we're just partners or something, she said.
Yeah, she said they were empty nesters and they don't even have like real meals together or anything like that. I was like, oh. I see why she was kissing this random man all up in the mouth, because he's the personal trainer. You're going to be doing this, girl.
I love her. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you good, girl.
I was just going to say, I love her and Danny in scenes together. I think the two of them would have made better BFFs than
Katie.
Her and I feel like she should have been Nicole's BFF.
You mean Danny's BFF? That's what I didn't understand. So Vanessa's Nicole's BFF, but we have not seen them in scenes together, really. We've seen her like pop up at like the family gatherings and the wedding, of course, but that's about it.
Oh, she's supposed to be Nicole's BFF?
Yeah.
I thought she was just a family friend. I didn't realize she was supposed to be Nicole's friend. I feel like her and Danny Danny and Vanessa are more each other's speed, and Nicole and Katie's character are more on each other's level or speed.
Right. I agree with that.
They're fun in scenes together.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then we ended off the week with Bill calling for her arrest, because she was like, I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm leaving that in the past. I confronted Haley, and then her son-in-law had to arrest her.
Yep.
I was wondering. Yeah, because I was wondering, like, it was like the most random scene where he's like, I love you, Naomi. I love you, something fierce. Know that I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. I'm like, what are you about to do? Who are you about to arrest? Are you about to arrest Danny? Because I remember the tail end of Thursday's episode, Bill had called somebody, but we didn't know who it was.
Yep. And
then sure enough, he pops in, and Vernon looking him down like, what you doing? What you coming here for? It's okay, Grandpa. He's family. You have the right to remain silent.
Right.
Oh, Lord.
And all, in that moment, all I saw was Chance. I don't know why. I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna go over well. Because his wife is
why they would send him to do it, though. Like, why would... I feel like that's a conflict of interest. Send somebody else to do that.
Right.
Unless he said, go ahead.
Oh, you're good.
I was just going to say, unless he said, I'll go because I know that I'll treat her fairly. I don't know.
Well, they had a different guy there. Remember the first guy that was the first police officer? Why he just didn't come back and do it?
But Jacob was already feeling guilty earlier in the week because he was even telling his fine daddy, I feel guilty.
You talking about Elon?
Yeah, yes. Oh my gosh. Fine. But the fact that he was like, I was at the wedding and I overlooked, my role and responsibility. I should have arrested her for pointing the gun at people, and I overlooked it. And his daddy was talking to him now, like, look, you chose family. So I think maybe he wanted to do this. That's why he went ahead and he called his wife and said, hey, I'm not doing this to hurt you. I'm trying to do the right thing. Blah, 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 blah. But he could have gave his wife a heads up. I did not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead of saying these I love you. You could have gave her a heads up, especially because she's a lawyer.
Right.
And if you're really looking out for her and her family, she could have got everything in order for her mother.
Right. Yep, that is true. It was a good week, though. Week number 2.
We didn't talk about Smitty and Martin.
Oh, yes, my babies. I love that.
I know. I'm going to have to fight Martin, though, because from the start of this show, he been working my nerves with the way he talks to Smitty.
Yeah, I don't appreciate how he interacts with his husband. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's one thing you want your spouse to play a specific role, focus on the kids, and take care of the household. Okay, but y'all are about to be empty nesters at 30 something years old. So, which is once again the age thing is unrealistic. But he wants to have a little something for himself. And plus, if these kids are going out, getting jobs and going on dates and playing sports and all of this, clearly they're self-sufficient enough to where, the spouse can at least do a little something. I think I said in the group chat, like, he can start a blog or something. He could, something other than as being a stay-at-home dad. Clearly that doesn't make him all that happy anymore, or he wants something new this time.
Yeah.
Nope.
Exactly, Eric. He treats that man like crap. He sure does.
Yeah, but he got some deeper issues going on. He's the one with the nightmares, and the family is keeping a secret around him. So there's something going on with Mr. Martin.
Yeah, right. But that don't mean he got to treat his husband
No,
that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's another layer to this storyline when it comes to... I want to know what else is going on behind the scenes with Martin, because they're hiding something.
I want to know if he knows what he did, or was it something where he
blacked out?
He blacked out and he's completely unaware, because I feel like in that scene with Bill at the wedding, like the little event they had before the wedding, the way Bill was talking to him, and the thing, like, it was like he was insinuating or talking about the secret, but to me it didn't seem like Martin knew what he was talking about,
right?
In a sense. So I feel like whatever it was that happened, Martin has no idea that he did whatever he did.
Well, right. Bill knows.
And then and this is what I don't understand about Vernon. Like, why are you going to Bill to help cover up your messes only to be indebted to him? That's the part I don't understand. You're a whole senator. You have all these connections, and you rely on him in regards to your grandson. And now he's holding this over, whatever it is, holding it over your head. And me personally, I think there's something going on with his, like, a personality disruption or some sort with Martin, because it's like one moment with his scenes with Smitty, he's happy-go-lucky, he's, smiling. Even there's certain moments when he was talking with his grandfather, he was, focused, clear-headed, and it's like as soon as he has a dream or it's like a switch, and he just talks to Smitty a certain type of way. So I don't know if they're going to touch on that, and that could also explain why he blacked out.
Right. Yeah.
So
I don't think he knows because next week in the previews, when he tell Vernon that he's going for president, he was like, "Oh no, you can't do that." So it's something that they don't want to get out. And of course, with him running for office like that at that level, that scandal is going, whatever it is, it's probably a scandal that'll be huge on that entire family.
Yeah.
So, be interesting to see what that looks like.
I feel like whenever Vernon went to Bill for help, I'm guessing it was while him and Danny were still together and happy, because we saw that flashback of them. So they were like completely happy with each other at one point. And I'm sure he never expected things to end up the way they did between them, and for Bill to turn into the kind of man that he did, even though Anita apparently never trusted or liked him.
Right. That is true. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next week.
Yeah.
And like it's gonna be.
Wait. What did you guys love the scene where Danny and her parents and her daughters, they were all dancing? They were doing like their little model walks, and then they all started like dancing around. Was that so cute? I love that.
It was cute, and they can't model walk at all, but it was really, really cute.
Yeah, that was cute. Yeah, it was cute. It was cute. All right.
Yeah. Oh,
we got
the Chelsea thing.
Okay, go ahead.
What did you guys think of that? I was surprised they pushed the buttons with that. And then they had a whole scene with her and Kat, and her hair is messed up, fresh off of her coupling.
I like that they added that little detail about Chelsea in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
something different.
It's definitely pushing the boundaries. I'm like, I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it was very shocking to say the least. All right, we got to get into our last segments.
Yeah.
We got to do our flip the script for Y&R. What y'all got?
Instead of like Holden and Audra going to the actual dining room, since she already has a room in the GCAC, they could have met up in that room and Nate had seen them go up together. That would have been interesting to see.
Okay. What about you, Keish?
I'll have somebody smack some sense into Summer.
Oh.
That's all I got.
That's all she got.
Somebody needs to slash some sense into that girl.
Yeah, I would just do away with the whole Billy, Sally, and Chelsea Adam thing. Y'all need to get rid of that. I don't know. Put Adam with Audra, like I said. In my opinion. What y'all got for Bold?
I would have loved for Luna to switch up on Steffy and then play both roles as Daddy's little girl and then also to terrorize Steffy at the same time whenever she's confronted.
Yeah, well, that would have been interesting. I would have had Daphne call Hope out on kissing Finn, since she want to call her out on kissing Carter, the love of her life.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, Keish?
Yeah. I really have one for Bold.
Okay. What you got for Beyond the Gates? Flip.
Oh my gosh, there's so many I would do. I would have Jacob warn his wife about him arresting her mother.
Gotcha. I would have had Kat, instead of confronting, film it. Since your parents don't believe you, and you see that girl going through your mama's stuff, all these cell phones, they keep talking, film it. And then say, you know what, Mom, then I'll show you better than I can tell you.
There we go. I love that.
I would have had Smitty stand his ground with Martin. I didn't like the way their last scene ended, where it seemed like he basically conceded to what Martin wanted, especially the way Martin said it. Mm-hmm. Like he was basically telling him, "This is what you're going to do," and that's the end of story.
Gotcha.
I wanted Speedy to stand up to him a little better.
Gotcha. All right, who's taking seats on Young and the Restless?
Oh goodness, there was a plethora of seats,
but Lily and Summer.
I'm gonna stop at the top left. We got Lily and Devon, brother and sister.
Yeah, Lily definitely. I mean, Summer definitely. It's just like, oh. And even Devon needs to take a seat. Acting want to throw his chest and all his saying stuff with his chest to Damian. You don't know that man.
Right. Exactly. And Chelsea and Adam can be thrown in the seat too, worrying about their exes after they broke up a year ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Audra for the way she's been playing this whole thing with Nate.
Mm-hmm. Wait, why Audra get a seat?
But the way that she was trying to overcompensate when she walked in with Holden, not expecting to see Nate at GCAC.
Mm-hmm. Well, who taking a seat on Bold?
Hope.
Definitely.
Yeah,
because that whole line about calling Carter the love of her life was just I couldn't even believe it.
I'm gonna put Taylor in the seat. And I know, yes, she's a concerned mama, but how you gonna tell somebody to leave somebody when your situation is on thin ice?
You know who else I'm gonna put in the seat? Oh, never mind. That happened last week. I was getting ready to say Luna for opening the door when she knew dang on well she wasn't supposed to be doing that, but she did that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tacky for the future. Bill for sure, because now he looks incredibly stupid. And then you got
for the future,
Olivia Benson as well.
Olivia Benson, you silly. All right, and then the Gates. I'm gonna put
Martin gets all the seats.
I'm gonna put Ted and Nicole in the seat for the way they talk to their daughter, because that girl clearly is seeing red flags, and y'all trying to talk crazy to her about that girl. Y'all about to get set up.
I forgive Ted though, because he looks so good in all his
shows. But he's stupid.
My seat is actually going to go to Haley and her delusion, in my opinion. Haley and her delusion. She completely disregarded how she's treated that family, and she thinks everything is just coming up roses.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. So, star of the week. YNR.
I'm gonna do Sharon and Sharon and Michelle Stafford.
I agree with that. Yeah. I agree. What about Bold?
Jackie.
Mm-hmm. Because she rocked out with the switches, how she's, and maybe even Luna for that face. Lisa Yamada know how to turn it on and off too. Mm-hmm. So I'll give her a nod on that one too. And then, of course, the Gates, Carla.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I was going to say, and the actress who plays Naomi as well. I think that she's a great supporting role. She, especially the scene that she had last week with her daddy. Mm-hmm. Great acting from her too.
Yeah, I agree. Pick a little week, YNR, Devon and Lily.
Yeah, there's this. They earned it this week, but mainly Lily. Clearly, she needs it.
I'm gonna say Summer, because she's the only one that can't get over Chance arresting Daniel when Daniel has been over it for months now.
Right. Yeah, that is true. Gotcha. And then Bold, Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tacky for the future.
Tacky for the future. All right, and the Gates. I'm gonna give it
Bill.
to. Oh, you gonna give it to Bill? I'm gonna give it to
Yeah.
Cuckoo Leslie, Lunatic Leslie. There you go.
Yeah, I like.
Sister,
Yeah,
Sister
I'll
Sheila.
agree. I agree. I'm gonna give
Sister
it.
Sheila.
I'm gonna give it to Leslie too because she gaslighting her daughter.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
All right, and then who gets our Simp Award for this week?
This is a hard one. Part of me almost wants to say Ted, and I don't really want to do that.
What do you do?
Cause he being extra nice to Eva.
Extra nice. The way he's just escaping a little bit. Like I said, a little bit.
Yeah, because he really don't know this girl.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I don't think that makes him a simp. I think he's just a genuinely nice person.
Look, I love my Ted. That's my man on the show.
Did you give it to Carter again?
Huh?
Would you give it to Carter again? Aisha said nobody.
Yeah, I don't really think Carter did anything this week that made him a simp. I mean, the storyline itself, I guess, makes Carter a simp simply because he did what he did for Hope, even though he claims it wasn't just for that. But I don't think he did anything this week that specifically makes him a simp, in my opinion. I can't think of anything that anybody did this week, honestly, that
I agree.
Would call them that.
Whoa, so there's no Simp Olympics?
Nope. Doesn't seem like it. Everybody's been status quo, so ain't nobody falling all over the place for something that, yeah. Well, we did it, girls.
We did.
Yeah, it was a good week, but the Gates definitely was the icing on top of, I guess, everything else. So, yeah, so you guys, the spoilers are up. Make sure you follow us on all of the other platforms besides YouTube. We have a Facebook group, Instagram, TikTok. Also, the Medium blog has all three of the spoilers up for the week of March 10th through the 14th. So it is all there. So make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out if you have not. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not. And other than that, that's it. You guys good?
Yep,
I'm good. I'm great. I'm ready for Lee to choke Poppy out. That's
me too. Yes. I'm looking forward to that. All right, you guys, have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget the clocks go up an hour on Sunday, so we lose an hour of sleep. And that means it stays lighter longer, which I'm happy about, especially here. But until then, we will see you guys later. Bye, Soapies.
Bye, everyone.